protocol and communication, what are those actually? So let's just understand before we go further. So what we are going to discuss: introduction, rules of communication, network protocol and standard, network transfer in the data transfer in the network, and summary. So basically the first item, rules of communication. So what we are going to discuss, types of rule that are necessary to communicate. So communication fundamental. Whenever two people are communicating to each other, what is involved actually? Basically, two things, many things are involved, as you can see. Human communication, normal when a human communicate to each other, there is always a message source and the message destination. So when the two people are communicating, let's say you are doing a WhatsApp communication with one of your friends or family. So there is always a message source and destination. Then there is a transmitter. Transmitter nowadays of the mobile. And there is a transmitter medium. So both sides you can see, and transmitter and receiver. And there is a transmission medium. Okay, that in our terms, if you take the WhatsApp example, WhatsApp network is the transmission media, and of course the internet as well. If the both parties are not connecting to the internet, if the one party has an internet, the other one doesn't have the internet, that message can never be delivered. So always keep in mind that in order to communicate from one person to another, in order to communicate with a different group of people, there is always a message source and message destination. There is a transmitter and there is a receiver, and also there is a transmission medium as well. That's how a human can interact with each other. Just keeping in this example, as you can see, if you apply the same thing on our network as well, like on a computer communication, it's the same thing. Rules of establishment, human communication between the governs the rule. It's very difficult to understand message. They are not correctly formatted and do not follow the established rule and protocol. So basically, you can see this, that this part is this, but the next part may be in a different language. If you translate that, right, then there is only one language. There's this language, and you can see when we translate it to different language. So basically, whenever you want to communicate, or the rules of communication are those, that has to be, the two people need to understand each other's language. In order to understand each other's language, if you understand Spanish or French or English, each language, they have their own parameter, grammar, pronunciation, and so many things. If the two people want to communicate, they need to follow the same rules of engagement. Okay, and you can see that's what we said. The protocols, the message timing is very critical. If the message is out of order or out of sync, then message may not be delivered properly. Message size, message formatting, message encoding, message delivery option. So these are all governed by the protocols, by the rules actually. So protocol means set of rules. Message encoding, as you can see, what do you mean by message encoding? Source encode and destination decode. Whatever you are encoding, and the other side is decoding. So basically, you are sending a message, you are encoding it. There is a transmitter, then the transmission media, receiver, and receiver wants it to receive that, it decode that. So the person who is seeing the picture on one side, the other person should receive the same message on the other side as well. Okay, so that's what the visualization of the message, or sending the message from source to the destination. The same rules used to encode the message, the same rule on the other side need to use to de-encode the message. So the picture or the message is clear. If the message is not receiving properly on the other side, then of course the communication will be broken. Source encode, destination decode, message formatting and encapsulation. Okay, in a day-to-day language, when we send an email or any letter, actually, you can see there is a rules of, there are many rules to actually follow. If you are sending a message, for example, starting with "Dear Jane, and I am returning from trip. I thought you would like to see my picture." So this is the actual message. Of course, that message will be sending through in the envelope. On the top of it, there is an envelope. An envelope has the sender and the recipient detail. So message format and encapsulation. So whenever this is the actual message, that will be encapsulated within the letter in the envelope, and you can see the sender address, receiver address, indicators. These are end of frames, for example. Similarly, in the day-to-day language, you can see the sender destination address, sender source address, salutation here, recipient identifier, content of the letter, and who you are, sender, source, and destination. End of the frame message. Now the message is going to be ended, for example. So in a day-to-day language, this is what we use, and in the networking terms, these are the terms we will be using later on.